Hello folks, and welcome back to another video. And have you ever wondered about a ghost pilot who saved the lives of more than 100 people? You might now be thinking like, how can a ghost save so many lives? So be seated, because today's video is gonna blow your mind. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So it all started back then about a half a century ago. On December 29th, 1972, Eastern Flight 401 from New York to Miami took off from JFK Airport at 9:20 p.m. There were 176 people aboard, including 163 passengers and 13 crew members. The flight was under the command of Captain Bob Loft, along with First Officer Bert Stockstill and Flight Engineer Repo. After 2 hours of the takeoff at around 11:30, nearly the landing time of the flight at Miami Airport, they were about to land, and so they pulled the landing gear lever. But unfortunately, the green indicator which shows that landing gear had opened didn't appear at the moment, frightening pilots about what had happened. They again pulled the lever, but the indicator didn't show up, making them clueless whether landing gears had opened up or not. Seeing no way out, they contacted ATC and told them the whole situation, to which ATC responded that they should immediately take the flight at the height of 2,000 feet until further instructions. They followed the orders and the plane reached the height of 2,000 feet. After reaching the appropriate height, they put the plane in autopilot mode, and then Flight Engineer Repo came to see what went wrong with the indicator. He tried everything, but the indicator didn't glow green, to which Bob suggested Don to check out from the window whether landing gears had opened up or not. He got there and reported that landing gears at the back were opened, but they were still closed at the front, which means landing in this situation was still a crash situation. They were already dealing with so much, but then suddenly, after about 4 minutes, the altitude alarm of the flight rang and pilots noticed that the plane was now going down drastically. Such a drastic downfall in altitude traumatized every passenger and crew member of the plane, and after 50 seconds of panic, pilots realized that plane is now 1,000 feet above the ground only. Pilots tried everything, but 50 seconds later, the plane crashed dangerously with a lot of deaths. 101 people died in the crash, while 75 of them survived. Later on, many parts of the plane were utilized in other planes as they were completely fine even after the crash, and those parts led to an unimaginable horror story. One such plane with Flight 401's parts was TriStar Flight 381. Flight 381 took off and everything was normal on the plane. Then, after a while, the air hostess starts her job, which is to provide meals to the passengers. An air hostess named Faye Marie walks back to the kitchen to do her work. When she walks into the kitchen and sees a face on the glass of the oven, she immediately turns back and thinks it's her illusion. But when she turns back and looks at the oven, that face appears once again. After this, Faye Marie comes to the flight engineer and tells him that a face is appearing again and again in the oven. The flight engineer laughs at her and goes with her to look at the oven in the kitchen. But as soon as the flight engineer looks at the oven, he also sees the same face that was seen by Marie. The flight engineer was stunned because he couldn't believe that he was looking at the face of his former coworker, Repo, who had already died a year ago. More strange thing was that Repo was chanting, "Be careful, the jet is about to catch fire," after which his face disappeared from the oven. The pilot makes the plane land safely and all the passengers disembark. Meanwhile, flight engineer told everyone about the incident, which aroused suspicion in many people. After this, the plane was inspected and it was found that there was some fault in the engine of this plane. Engine faults were rectified, but the pilot of that plane felt that this plane should be tested, so that there is no problem during its flight. After this, with 2 pilots and 2 flight engineers, the plane flew for testing. But shortly after takeoff, the plane's engine caught fire, and with a big bang, the plane fell down, turning the prophecy into a reality and saving lives of around 180 innocents. However, this was not the first time when such a thing was observed in Flight 318, but in the same year prior to this accident, an executive of Eastern Airlines was once traveling in it to Miami when a person in the dress of captain sat next to him. As always, they shared some words and talked for a long time, until the executive realized that it's been so long since the captain sat next to him. As an executive, when he got up to check who was commanding the plane while the captain was there, he was shocked to see that the captain of the flight was already flying the airplane. He was unable to understand if the captain is here, then who was the one with whom he was chatting since the last minutes? And when he returned to his seat, he lost his consciousness as he recognized that the person he was talking to was none other than Captain Loft, who already passed away about a year ago. So we must correct ourselves that he lost his consciousness after knowing the fact that he was talking to none other than the ghost of his former beloved pilot, Captain Loft. Many such stories can be grabbed from the internet about the ghosts of Flight 401, but we brought you only some of the most authentic ones today. By the way, have you ever experienced any such ghostly thing in the flight? Let me know in the comments down below.